Our second episode pulled back for a broader perspective on the economic localization movement that's really the practical foundation for immense possibilities. Hi, I'm Jeff Gold, and welcome to our weekly visit with people in groups who are putting forward immense possibilities for healthier communities, for solutions to all kinds of problems. In the last few years, the interests in building local economies, sometimes called localization, has grown very fast. And our guest tonight and his work is one of the reasons that's true. He is Michael Shuman. He is the Economic Development and Research Director for a national organization known as BALI, the Business Alliance for Local Living Economies. His books have really informed the localization movement. They include Going Local and the Small Mart Revolution. Michael Shuman, it is a great pleasure to have you here on Immense Possibilities. Welcome.
Nice to be with you.
You know, Michael, we have a short film we'd like to show. It describes what's going on in Bellingham, Washington, which I believe has been very important to BALI, the organization you work with. Let's take a look and then come back and talk about it.
Where are we?
Hey, we're in Bellingham, Washington.
We are about an hour from Canada right now, and we are highlighting Sustainable Connections, which is an incredible nonprofit.
Bellingham is one of the most sustainable communities in the U.S. It has an amazing local living economy, and the locals are incredible. Lots of social entrepreneurs, so we're going to go and interview them.
Say about 50% of your dollar stays within your community if you're buying from a local retailer or purveyor, because their business owners spend that money locally, whereas if you're part of a chain, that dollar that you give to that business owner, or that $50 goes outside of the community, goes up to headquarters, goes up to an organization that doesn't know how our community works.
Everything that I possibly can source, I source within 22 miles. It tastes better, it's better for you, and it's better for the local economy. And I love to support the local farmers because they are hard-working people, really hard-working people.
Michael, you know about Sustainable Connections in Bellingham. I'm wondering if we have a viewer, perhaps an older viewer, who's involved in some profession, who looks at that and goes, well, that's very nice. A lot of younger people having a good time and very marginal professions, but this is not serious economics. This is not what economics is really about. You can't really scale up to anything significant here. It's for the fringe. What would you say to him?
Well, what I would say is look at the economic studies about how it is you can create jobs. America has been in an enormous jobs crisis for the last 3 years, and neither the president nor his opposition have been able to solve the jobs problem to any significant extent. And I believe the reason is that they have not focused on local businesses. What we know from dozens of studies is that locally owned businesses, for every dollar you spend at them, generate 2 to 4 times as many jobs as do non-local businesses.
Does this tend to be a political movement in the sense that it divides people along traditional lines, or is there bridge building involved with this where people who haven't agreed very much before tend to come together?
Well, I think it's absolutely the latter. And I think the underlying values around localization very much appeal to principled conservatives. That is, we're about small government, small business, free markets. We're about community empowerment and community rights. But the part that then also appeals, I think, to progressives, principled progressives, is that this is about building an economy with high labor and environmental standards from the ground up.
Welcome back. In our segment today on younger people generating immense possibilities, we're going to focus on mediation or alternative dispute resolution. And with me to do that is Caitlin Kreshru, who works as a volunteer with Mediation Works, an organization based in Medford. Caitlin, welcome. It's good to have you here.
Thank you.
I'm curious what first drew you into this field. What was your first spark of passion for mediation?
Well, you know, my first experience with mediation was actually as an elementary school student. I was part of a peer mediation program at my elementary school, and after that experience, that kind of carried it with me all the way through to college.
I want to know about one other program you've been involved with called VIA. What is that and how does it work?
Sure. VIA stands for Victim Assistance and Youth Accountability, and it's based on restorative justice principles. So the idea is not only does the program support victims of nonviolent crimes, but they also create an environment for juvenile offenders who have done those crimes, and there's a 6 weeks course for those for the students in that class, and they culminate in a dialogue between victims and the juvenile offenders.
So the actual offender is meeting with the people they victimized.
That's right.
That must be difficult sometimes.
It can be, but it can also be really empowering.
What's the impact generally on the offender, on the young offender?
I think for the first time, often they're really heard and their experience is really heard, and they're also faced with what they've really done in that moment. Really being face to face with the person that you've harmed can be a really powerful experience and a really humbling experience.
Mm-hmm. Caitlin, I want to ask you, what is the immense possibility you see in this work?
I think the opportunity to really change the culture of conflict within your community, and that community can be you know, at your high school, in your work place, or in your home life, really.
Well, that is great. Caitlin Kreshru, thank you so much for spending time with us today.
Thank you.
That's it for the telecast portion of Immense Possibilities. Stay tuned online. Join us because we're going right there at immensepossibilities.org. If you're tuning out now, we'll see you next week. And until then, I'm Jeff Golden. Do what you can do. How immense will immense possibilities become? Well, that depends on you and the depth of support for producing the very best programs we can on community building that gives people realistic hope. Will you become a friend of Immense Possibilities?